Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tangle Time Arts. My name is Nana Heron, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And I'm so excited to be here with you today, working through Inktober Tangles. Day 14 has an interesting surprise for us. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to Stephanie Jennifer, who puts this all together. She does an amazing job. All right, day 14. So I'm going to show you from the packet. If you don't have one of these, you can still get it. The information's in the description. So day 14 by Susan Yeo, CZT, brings us this tangle that looks like, well, it reminds me of little buildings, little dwellings. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the name of it. Caserene. I want to say casa because it reminds me of little houses. But that was my best try. So we're going to need some basic materials. And for today, I have a white tile. If you don't have a white tile, you could use just a white sheet of computer paper or your sketchbook. You will need a black pen. And I have a thicker one. I'm using a graphic one, but you could use like a 10 if you have one of those. I also have a number 2 pencil and a tortillon. And then I have some glitter pens, glitter gel pens on standby, just in some fall colors. If we have some time, I'll just add a little sparkle. All right. So for our little buildings here, this is very different for me because I mostly focus on the botanical type of tangles. So we're going to start with our pencil. And I thought we would go the traditional way of putting a dot in each corner. And then I'm going to draw a line from dot to dot, corner to corner. Once we have that, I am going to divide this roughly in half. And you want to do that lightly, but I'll press a little harder so that you can see better on the screen. And then we're going to divide it in half the other way, like that. And then we can set our pencil aside. So for me, even though with the step out, she prefers to draw a line like this, um, angle down and then a straight line. I actually prefer to do something kind of like a check mark. So about 1/3 of the way down in a square, I'm drawing basically a check mark like that. Um, but Susan's way is drawing this first. I like the check mark and then I draw the line. She does this line first and then draws a line that way. So I'm just going to finish with my check marks. And then my lines. Oops, that one's not very straight. Oh well, no worries. Once you have that in, um, then we have this interesting, it's a curve, just a curve. And we're going to do that on all of the right sides. And under each of those, then we have a little, it looks like an arc, but To me, it reminds me of a doorway because these remind me of little houses. It actually, if I go a step further, I do some iconography painting, and these kind of remind me of some of the little buildings in iconography. But that's a whole different story. All right, and then on our other side, our left-hand side, we're also going to draw like a C curve, just a little arc there. Like that. And then I like to actually mirror the doorways. So I'm going to fit in, and we don't have as much space over here as we do here. So it's pretty much right on the border line here, where I'm putting in little doors on the left-hand side. And they might be a little thinner. That's how I'm doing them. All right, you can see the buildings kind of take shape there a little bit. For me, I like to add, before I shade these in, I like to add this. So I'm going to aura on the inside, this shape. So in the larger ones, I'm doing that on the left-hand side. And in the smaller ones, I'm doing that on the right-hand side. Like that. And then, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting, is we're going to draw a little diagonal from our straight line here. So we're on the top row. So our straight line here down to the bottom of this curve, like that. And then we can mirror that by going that way. And then once we have that in, we can do some shading. So for all of these areas, I just add some lines in here. I'll do these larger doors first. Make sure I'm on the screen there. There's not a lot of rotating with this tile, so it's very, very different. And then for the smaller doors, I'm going to do the little diagonals in the other direction to the right. All right. Um, I think for me, I am going to switch to the graphic one, but if you don't have a graphic one, you can go ahead and start filling these in. I'll do one with my regular pen here. I like to fill these in completely black so that they really do look like little doorways. But I am going to switch to the graphic pen because it's a little wider and I can work a little quicker and get this done a little faster for you. But if you don't have one of these, that's totally fine. No worries. It'll just take you a little bit longer. As we're doing this, I'm just trying to think how I would use this tangle in the future. Maybe in kind of like a landscape type of project. I'll have to think about it. This is very interesting to me because it does remind me of little buildings. And once I have that thought in my head, it's kind of hard to use it as something else. All right, so I have that all inked in. And then I'm also going to ink in some areas in here. So this is going to be all black here. And I like to do this before I do my shading. And then we've got another one here. That. And then on the top row, I'm inking in this entire area. I'm sorry, that's my little puppy. The neighborhood's a little noisy this morning. Been kind of like that lately. So a lot of times I try to film at night, but sometimes with my schedule, I'm filming in the morning. And we have a lot of dogs in the neighborhood. Shh. Benji, shush. All right, so we've got that inked in. So we have a lot of drama there. A lot of drama with this tile. So if you like drama tiles, this is definitely a tile for you. All right, so now I'm going to add some shading. And I like to do that. So I kind of like to add shading on the left here. And I'm just going to keep that consistent no matter which side our door is kind of. So getting a little shading. Like that. And then underneath these doors, I'm going to add a little shading kind of with a diagonal here and then some shading there. This is the mirrored opposite. So the diagonal comes this way, just like this line came from the upper left to the lower right. Same here. And you could have many more rows of these. I just did the two rows, but you could have 3 or 4. You could stack a bunch of them on there. That would be kind of fun, actually. Um, okay, I'm going to add a little bit of shading along this kind of like domed roofs. Like that. And then I'm going to take my tortillon. So there's not a lot of shading here, but we still want to add some. And you can experiment with the shading. Um, put it on different sides or whatever. So definitely play around with that. All right, and then we have this area here, which is interesting. And then if you'd like to, you have a lot of graphite on your tortillon, you could just run that over these areas just to give it a, a touch of shading like that. Very quick, very easy to do. And then we had, I think there was a little bit on these domed areas. Just a little bit though, not a lot. All right, so now I'm going to take my pen and kind of finish off, because this is a thick black line up here. I'm just going to finish this off on the bottom to make it look more matching. And on the sides as well. And then I thought we'd make this kind of like a frame and just add some lines here, diagonals to each corner. So it's kind of like a picture. And then we can add a little shading if you want to. Not required, but I mean, you could add a little shading, just a little bit. So it looks more like maybe like a picture like that. And because to me, this reminds me of iconography a little bit, I want to make the domes, maybe add a little bit to the domes. So I have different colors of my glitter gel pens here. And our options are, well, these only come in so many options, but if it was an icon, maybe we would do something like red clay type of color, which I don't really have, or a blue. You could kind of go with a blue. And I'm just going to add a little bit of detail to some of these dome-like areas, just because it kind of reminds me of that. And I just did an aura with this line here. I did two here, and I did an aura of this line here twice. And then I'm just kind of inking it in. I don't really, like I said, I don't really have the red clay color that I'm looking for. So I just kind of have to make do. And I'm not able to add all the first and second lights like we would in iconography. So I'm just leaving a little white space there. All right, I've got that one filled in, and maybe I'll use, and I've got different colors of an orange type of color. So I might go up here and do the same thing. And this is optional. Um, Definitely not a requirement, but just because they remind me of little buildings, I'm kind of working on the domed top a little bit. I'm gonna use one of my other colors here. Let's go with the kind of golden color. I've got a goldish one here. I'm kind of making a squiggle here. And then filling in, leaving some white space because there's just no way that I can ink in the different lights that we would use in iconography. All right, and then let's add some detail over here. And I think I have a more brownish one as well, but they're definitely not the clay red that I would like to have. Um, and I didn't really have a blue gel pen that would work either. I think out of the three colors, this kind of more brown one looks the best, at least for me. All right, I have those inked in. And then I think I would like to add a little bit of the black gel pen, just over these black areas, just to give it a little bit of sparkle, just because it is so black. So much drama. And because we put in the black ink under it, I don't have to worry, did I get every single spot with the glitter pen? I just need to have enough glitter on there that it adds a little sparkle to it. I love adding sparkle. All right. We do not need to add sparkle to these areas. So we'll just leave those totally black. I'm going to move that around and so that you can see the sparkliness. Um, so this is my take on Susan Yeo's Tangle Caserene. Um, and I really still want to say Casa. Oh, sorry. Okay. So I'm going to put my initials on here while the glitter is drying a little bit. I'm just going to tuck my initials down in this corner like that. And then I'm going to flip this over. Be careful not to smear the gel pen, but I'm going to put my name on it. And then I am going to put the date. And we have Inktober Tangles 2024. And it is day number 14. Wow. And this one, it is spelled Case, like case, with Rene added to it. Um, by Susan Yeo, CZT. Okay. So how cool is that? It really does remind me of little buildings. Um, like I said, I'll have to think about how I would use this in the future, just because I'm not um familiar with having a building type of tangle. I love to work with the botanical ones, so this was very different for me. It's pretty easy to do, and you can play around with the inking and the shading areas. I'd love to see what you do with it. All right, thanks for joining me. I will see you tomorrow for another fun tangle. I'm learning so much, so this is just awesome. I hope you're learning too, and give yourself some grace. These are mostly new tangles for a lot of us. So I'm sure everything looks awesome and you're doing an awesome job. And remember, I love you guys and have a good day.